I'm excited about the One Wish, which is this simple, friendly equipping tool to help people connect with folks and help them begin and grow in a friendship with God. And I've done this in small groups and churches and developed it over the last 3 years. And just this last week, heard of a friend of mine who goes to House Fellowship. He's a Delta pilot, very kind of quiet guy. And I just heard the story. He was standing with 4 of his sort of flight attendants, and he was wearing the One Wish wristband. And they said, hey, what's those pictures on the wristband? And he just quietly just shared with them. They stood and listened attentively to what he was sharing. And as I say, not an outgoing guy, but just took that opportunity when they asked him. And I tell folks, just wear the wristband and people will notice it and ask you, hey, what's that about? Also this last week, met a friend who's an electrician. And I'd done a One Wish Sunday in a church a year or so ago, a charismatic church, where I gave an equipping message during the Sunday service. Over a Bring a Dish lunch, we did some question and answers and little role play one-on-one practicing. And then I took them out on the streets to witness. And in fact, the pastor said, Richard, in the next 2 months, we saw more people come to Christ in those 2 months than the past 2 years. And one of the guys, this electrician, when he got hold of this with that first question, if you could wish one thing from God today for you, what would that be? He said, gosh, I'm in homes every day, doing their electrics, and I can ask this question. And just this last week, he said, Richard, I've just led 3 people to the Lord. So exciting to hear these stories of God people getting the training and using it in their lives. And there's some very warm moments for me. I remember taking a team of 35 high schoolers from a Baptist church nearby. We went down on a mission trip to New Orleans. And I remember a little coffee area, sort of outside area, and a lady was sitting down, and I walked over to her with my coffee and said, hey, do you mind if I just sit here? And she said, go ahead. And we got chatting, and I said, can I ask you something? If you could wish one thing from God today for you, what would that be? And she said, whoa, that's a good question. I've got to think about that. And she must have sat back for about a minute or so, just kept saying, well, that's a good question. And then she said, I want to know God. How can I get to know God personally? And I just said, may I show you with these 4 pictures how you can get to know God in a personal way? And I led her to the Lord. In fact, some of the young people came by. I've never done this before. This will sound crazy. And I said, I feel like dancing. And we started to dance on the street as a group. And all these people are watching what's going on. And as we were dancing, I realized we were catching up with heaven, where they throw a party over one sinner who repents. So it's been exciting. And, some people are different. You don't, of course, always get, a positive response. I remember at Christmas, being with 2 friends, we went to the Hartsfield International Airport here. We're in the food court area. Saw a gal, maybe in her 20s, holding a Starbucks coffee, sitting, I guess, waiting for somebody. And I walked over to her and said, hey, I'm with 2 friends and it's Christmas week. We're out asking folks a question. We're from a local church. And when I mentioned local church, she said, well, I'm an atheist. I said, may I still ask you the question? She said, sure. So I'd never put it this way before. This just kind of came out. And I said, if you could wish one thing from God whom you don't believe in, but I do, what would that be? And she said, well, I just got a call from my sister this week. She was in a panic and crazy. My boyfriend ran off with the baby. I've just got the baby back. Everything's in a mess. Can you come and help? So she said, I've just flown in from Boulder, Colorado. I said, my honey's from Boulder, Colorado. And I've often seen how God has connected the dots. And then I said, would it be okay if I said a short prayer to the God you don't believe in, but I do, that he would come and help in this mess? And she said yes. And because she may be an atheist here, but not here. And that question is a heart question. And I was able to connect with her and share my story, how God became real to me. So it's been exciting using this simple, friendly approach that people can just kind of get going straight away. It'll be used to stir people and equip people to make friends and introduce their best friend. Thank you.